Constance Roberts is the foster daughter of Maggie and Donald Roberts. Years ago, when Maggie was giving birth in the hospital, a fire broke out and her newborn daughter went missing. In the process of searching for her daughter, she rescued Constance from the fire and raised her as her own daughter. Initially, the family treated her well. But when Constance was 13 years, the real daughter, Clara, suddenly came back, and her life has been turned upside down since then. She was sent to live in the rural area, and even because of Clara's jealousy was forbidden to come back to Roberts' family. But one day she was invited back to the Roberts family. The reason she was asked to come back now was simply because the heir of the Carters family, whom Clara was betrothed to marry, suddenly had an accident and was disabled, and Clara no longer wants to marry him. When her foster mother, Maggie Roberts, asked her to marry him on behalf of her foster sister, Constance said, "But I am not even your real daughter, I am just your foster daughter." Clara chipped in with her soft, melodious voice. "A foster daughter and a cripple is a match made in heaven." Constance was so hurt by this statement, so she asked Maggie, "Is this true?" Then her foster father, Donald Roberts, said, "Constance, the Carter family is a rich family. Once you marry into it, you would not suffer again." Constance said, "Dad, since the marriage is good, let Clara marry him instead." Donald Roberts' expression changed in anger. "Constance, you are so malicious, so you want to push your little sister into fire?" Constance exclaimed in surprise. "Fire?" Mr. Donald said, "I won't hide the truth from you. The heir of Carter's family is cruel and ruthless. Your sister has been fragile since her birth. Sending her there would be like sending her to her death." Constance said, "So you asking me to die on her behalf?" Clara answered her, "Sister, you are already used to suffering. You won't find it hard in your husband's house." Then Maggie Roberts said, "I rescued you from the fire and raised you for 13 years. Even when my real daughter came back, I still provided for you. Why can't you repay my kindness by standing in for her in this marriage?" Constance's face turned pale and her heart burned with pain. "When I was suffering in the village, you said you hope I would die, Sue. How can you ask me to repay your kindness?" Donald Roberts stood up and landed a slap on her face. It immediately swelled up. "You are such an ingrate. Let me tell this, you must get married to the Carters family whether you like it or not." Nancy wiped her tears and said, "Mom, Dad, do the Carters family know you are sending them a fake daughter-in-law?" Nobody answered her. Suddenly the family butler ran in, gasping for breath. He said, "Sir, Madam, the head of the Jackson family has sent someone to take the young lady back." Maggie's face turned from furious to a joyful smile, and she said to Clara, "Prepare, your biological family has come to take you back." Constance was surprised. Is the Jackson family not the most wealthiest family in the city? Then Maggie told her, "Clara is the real daughter of the Jackson family that was lost years ago." Clara was confused. "Didn't you do a paternity test years ago to confirm?" "Yes, we did, but it later turned out that it was wrong." These few words hit Constance like a heavy hammer. She was stunned as if she was struck by thunder. When Clara came to recognize her parents years ago, Constance was heartbroken and secretly went for a paternity test which confirmed that they were not her real parents. And it's because of the results that she left the city to live in the rural area, and now they say it's not real. Donald then said, "You are our biological daughter. This marriage is originally yours. There is nothing little standing in for anybody. You are not young anymore. It's time for you to help us out. Our company is facing some issues, and the financial assistance offered by the Carters family will help us out." Constance was disappointed with her parents. "I will agree to marry him on one condition, that you give me 2% of the company share as a compensation of the $100 million dowry you are going to receive." Donald was furious. "Have you gone mad? I have to sell myself for a good price." "You don't deserve it," Maggie said. If you refuse, I am going to the Carter's family and reject the marriage. Donald Roberts has already received the $100 million and invested it in his business, so if Constance rejects the marriage he would have to pay it back. If I give you the 2% share, would you agree to marry him? Yes, she replied immediately. All right, I will give it to you. He signed the transfer agreement and threw it to her. Tomorrow morning the Carter's family will come and pick you up for the marriage registration. No, I will go there on my own. Constance put the transfer agreement in her bag and left the Roberts family house. The next day Constance stepped into the Civil Affairs Bureau. A man standing in front of a Bentley approached her. Are you Miss Constance? Yeah, it's me. Mr. Leonard Carter is waiting inside for you. When she entered inside, she saw a handsome man in a wheelchair. He had an air of nobility and wealth around him. Leonard Carter turned to look at her with cold eyes. His eyes scanned her for a few seconds, then he awake his face with a frown. It seemed like he really despised her. His assistant brought out the papers and said, Miss Constance, let's make this quick. Mr. Carter has a meeting to attend. The marriage registration was so quick that the whole process took less than 5 minutes. When Leonard Carter received his marriage certificate, he did not even look at it. Instead he threw it to his assistant and said, take it to my mother, and he left. When he left, the assistant brought out a file and gave it to Constance and said, open it. When she opened the file, her mouth opened in shock. The word divorce was boldly written on it. The assistant said to her, Mr. Leonard Carter wants you to sign the divorce papers within 3 months. In the meantime you should maintain a distance from him and refrain from interfering in his life. Constance glanced at the divorce papers in confusion. She couldn't believe that her groom rejected her at the first meeting. The assistant put his hands inside his pocket and brought out his card. If you have any questions, you can contact me. But Constance rejected the card. She put the marriage certificate and divorce papers inside her bag and said, tell your boss to meet me in 3 months' time in the office of the Civil Affairs Bureau for the divorce. After saying this she walked away with pride. The assistant looked at her with surprise. Miss Constance was not like what the rumors said. He thought she would cling desperately to his boss, but it turns out she was quite easy to settle. Immediately Constance came out, she saw a familiar car. She approached the car and the window rolled down, revealing her stepmother's face. Have you gotten the marriage certificate? She asked her. Constance waved the certificate at her face. She snatched it. After confirming it was authentic, she said. Good, she said, and then told the driver, throw that trash out. Immediately the driver got out and threw out a suitcase. Constance recognized the suitcase as her own and her face changed immediately. Mom, why are you doing this?
Maggie Roberts said, you are now married to the Carter's family. You no longer belong to our family again. So you are in a rush to get rid of me? Constance said in sorrow. Maggie did not answer. Instead she told the driver to drive and he sped off, leaving a cloud of dust behind. Constance looked at her belongings scattered on the floor and with deep sorrow began to gather them one by one. Meanwhile, inside the luxurious car, Maggie was on a call with Donald Roberts. She was laughing wildly in excitement. The marriage is done. That girl will never come back to this family again, and this marriage would not affect Clara's future. The Jackson family has taken Clara as their daughter. They won't know that she is fake, while Constance is their real biological daughter. Maggie said, I heard Leo Carter is a lunatic. I am not sure that girl will survive him for 3 months. When she dies, her shares will return to us, and nobody will ever know that our daughter Clara took her place. Donald laughed greedily. By the time our daughter Clara inherit the wealth of the Jackson family and take us along, everything will belong to us three. The couple had already it all figured out. Constance, with nowhere to go, had no choice but to drag her suitcase to her friend Samantha's house. Her friend immediately confronted her with a barrage of questions. "Why didn't you tell me something as important as marriage?" Constance was surprised. "How do you know?" she asked her. "Your sister Clara posted it on social media yesterday." "Constance, do you know how sadistic and wicked Leo Carter is?" "I heard he has killed several people." "Immediately I heard about it. I came back to stop you, but it was too late." Constance was confused because she could not associate the brutal man Sabrina was talking about to the calm gentleman she saw on wheelchair. She said to her friend, "Sabrina, the marriage is only in papers. We will divorce after 3 months." Sabrina's eyes widened. "Divorce?" Constance said yes and showed him the divorce papers. Sabrina read it carefully and said, "I hope he keeps his promises and won't come looking for you after 3 months." Constance then said, "The Roberts family has kicked me out. I have nowhere to go." Sabrina hugged her and said, "You can stay with me as long as you like." When everyone else abandoned her, it was only her friend Sabrina that came to her side and comforted her. Elsewhere in the Carter's family mansion, the assistant stood trembling before the presence of elderly Lady Carter. He dared not look at her, he could only steal a glance. Lady Carter exuded a powerful aura and commanded respect. At the moment she was examining a marriage certificate, flipping it over to ascertain its authenticity. She spoke to the assistant, "You brought back the marriage certificate, but where is my daughter-in-law? Why didn't you bring her?" The assistant started sweating on his forehead immediately. He dared not to speak rashly. "My lady, the young lady is loved at home. The marriage was just registered and she is reluctant to leave her parents. She wishes to spend a few more days with them." "She must be a good daughter," Lady Carter smiled. After the assistant left, Lady Carter told her housekeeper, "I am afraid Leo and his assistant are lying to me. Tomorrow take me to the Roberts family house so that I will bring my daughter-in-law myself." The next day old Lady Carter arrived at the imposing front gate of the Roberts family house. She was about to knock when she heard a loud noise from inside. "Constance, you are truly shameless. I told you to get lost. Why did you come back? I know you want to steal something." The next second the gate swung open and a slender and fragile young girl was pushed out by an arrogant middle-aged woman holding a stick. When old Lady Carter saw her daughter-in-law being scolded and beaten, her heart ached. She moved to defend her. "Stop beating her," she said. Maggie Roberts looked at her angrily, not realizing she is the matron of the Carter's family. "Old witch, go and die." She raised up her stick to hit the old lady, but Constance rushed forward and used her body to shield her from the blow. When the blow landed on her back, she gasped in pain. Lady Carter was impressed her daughter-in-law was helping her, a stranger she never met before. "She is truly a good child." Upon seeing this, Maggie was enraged. She raised the stick to hit her again, but this time it did not land as she wished. Her hand was held by a middle-aged man. "Who else is seeking death?" Maggie said venomously as she spat. But her whole body started trembling immediately she saw the man. "Housekeeper Ken, why is it you?" Housekeeper Ken was the person that has been facilitating the marriage between the Carter family and Roberts family, so Maggie recognized him. She tried to pull her hands away, but Housekeeper Ken held her tightly. Then old Lady Carter walked towards her with her head held high. She slapped her forcefully across the face. Before she could recover, she slapped her other cheeks. Maggie started seeing stars. "How dare you treat my daughter-in-law like that?" Maggie was stunned. "Are you Lady Carter?" Shut up, you disgusting thing. She turned to Constance. Are you hurt, my darling? Constance replied, trembling, no. She just wanted to get her medicine box her master gave her before he died, only to be attacked and beaten up and rescued by an old woman who turned out to be her mother-in-law. Lady Carter held her hands tightly. I will make sure no one ever bullies you again. Maggie said with a stammer, you misunderstood, we were just playing around. She forced a laugh and Constance saw her pretentious behavior and felt sick to her stomach. She said, Mrs. Roberts, I will only take what belongs to me and go. I will never touch anything that belongs to the Roberts family in my life again. She turned to Lady Carter and said, let me go and get my things. But old Lady Carter held her hand fiercely and said to Maggie, do you think you can deceive me like a 3-year child? Your family threat my daughter-in-law like a thrash, and yet you lied to me saying it's a joke. Maggie Roberts, I want you to apologize to Constance now. Donald Roberts suddenly rushed in. He turned to his wife and said, apologize to Constance, you are wrong on this. He turned to Lady Carter with a forced smile, this mother and daughter always fight, please forgive them for offending you. But Lady Carter's face was cold and she did not respond to him. Donald gave Maggie a warning look and she immediately faked a smile. Constance, I said what I said out of anger. Please forgive me, she said in a careless tone, but Constance saw right through her pretense and said, I won't accept such apologies. Lady Carter stepped forward and said to Donald, is this how you apologize to your family? She turned to Maggie, I don't blame you. You are just a mistress that got promoted to a wife. You won't know how people of class apologizes. Maggie was humiliated and still managed to force a smile. She looked at Constance and wished she could slice her into 1,000 pieces. Constance was surprised. This is the first time she had seen anyone humiliate Maggie, and she was grateful towards Lady Carter. Lady Carter said, Constance, go inside and pack your things. From today you will be living with me. Constance went inside and came out with her medicine box after confirming that nothing is missing inside it. Donald said to Lady Carter, will you stay for dinner? But Lady Carter said, if you can treat your own daughter like this, then I am afraid you will poison me. She held Constance's hands tightly and said, let's go. The Carter's family is now your new home. If you enjoyed this story, like and comment for the part 2. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more interesting story.